Hello, my friends. This is an interesting moment when the new young, if I may say, candidate files with the FEC, and in my unique case, I have multi-party credentials, having been a lifetime Democrat, progressive Democrat, in a blue city in a red state, without electoral influence, electoral college influence, that mattered for presidential candidate voting for in such a circumstance. Switching by pragmatic necessity, which I do not find morally objectionable, mind you, if it's necessary to be able to make a contribution without breaking basically any kind of ethics, rules, or moral values. And from my perspective, that gets to my point. But before I do get to that point, so having established Republican credentials by effectively applying to be the vice presidential pick for the 2020 election for both the Biden and the Trump campaigns, and I hope that nobody takes offense by the political savvy, and I would call it humanity's survival imperative, to see that Donald Trump, in any scenario, would not serve from 24 and beyond, a period of time in which I deem the collision between high technology and the concept of modern civilization, all the way back to its antecedents in ancient Greece. I'll have more to say on that later in a specific address on the historicity and the roots of democracy and the concept of a republic. But the notion of an independent White House has always been present from my read of the Founding Fathers' works, such as in the Federalist Papers and all of the correspondence that is attached by reference historically. And again, my father was an extraordinary teacher of constitutional history, a very gifted professor of that distinct discipline from, say, constitutional law. History and law are different. They overlap heavily in this case, as both in the general topical constellation called the humanities, a very strong suit at the University of Utah. The concept of an independent presidency is more important than ever, and it's, I believe, our option, and in this case, I will say it is my opportunity to do something in yet another realm, as I have in technology, but this time in politics, to make a lasting and a permanent difference where one is needed, that will help immensely in a number of problem areas, make campaign finance possible, in my opinion, at the presidential level, reform of the campaign finance system, which it tremendously disadvantages someone like myself as a scientist first, a highly regarded, successful, high-tech CEO, second, and third, an extremely talented fundraiser. But that's in the order of my career commitments. I don't raise money I raise it because it's needed to finance the future. And this is something that I feel strongly about. I intend to be a dynastic president. And whether I am or not, I think that the Democratic Party should take advantage, as should the Republican parties, in actually jointly supporting my nomination. It's never been done in history, but I urge you to consider it carefully. Because to establish a permanent separation of political power from the White House would enable multi-party cabinets that last. It would dissociate the office of the president and the White House in general from the utter warfare that sometimes must be associated with the legislature, with the legislative process in both chambers. That bicameral process is essential to rigorous debate, to flush all the ideas out, and to sometimes get battered about, as can and will happen with any of my legislation proposed, and even me as president, I'm sure. And I'm ready for it. I'm a big boy. I know how to handle myself, of course. But let's take advantage of this moment and try to keep the D, R, and I as much out of the central focus as the responsibilities of the office. And particularly since we have a former president and a current president who are in need of some relief, both. That's bluntly known, I think it's fair to say, and I'm here to serve at the right time. And God willing, I will be married and I'll have 2 or 3 natural children in my first term and raise them during the first and second. That'll be a delight for the American public to see, and I hope do more to heal our families post-COVID, to remind them how I was raised, how decent people have been raised in different times. And some of those times can come back, and they will on my watch. I love you all, and thank you for your support. I will not let you down. I will not let the party down, and I will not let the American people down, nor this great nation. So help me God. See you soon. The specific plan that I have is, I think, prepared to be discussed in a presentation briefing like this today. And it involves how we truly take the definitive step that can last for generations to come on uniting American government in a way that has not been possible, and is such a rare opportunity now with regard to my re-entrance into Washington, D.C. and plan ahead. With that in mind, it's going to be a presentation on the Firmage administration cabinet, the White House cabinet for 25 onward. Between now and then, depending upon how things are concluded, would be a course and speed towards a 2-step transition, should the in-situ transition option be elected shortly. I surely hope it will be. My request will be made today formally through appropriate channels. And either way, this plan for a future White House cabinet structure will, I think, impress and delight you, and will be something you'll definitely want to be sharing with judicious care with colleagues in D.C., particularly on Capitol Hill, and also in the senior ranks of the political and campaign operations for at least the Democrats and possibly the Republican National Committee as well. There is a unique opportunity for a reuniting of the American spirit, and I, for one, will do everything I possibly can to ensure that this vision comes true, because I think it is unquestionably in the interest of our nation, far beyond the interest of me or a Firmage administration to come. So with that preface, I will wish you the finest afternoon, the most enjoyable day in recent memory. After all, it is for me, because I'm quite confident I'll be returning to the city that I truly love, our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And I will see you and speak with you from there. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for your loyalty, your good faith, and your diligence, your intelligence, and your heart. May God bless you. We'll see you soon.